Hello, everybody, and welcome. Big aloha. I'm Natalie. Welcome to Life After a Cult, the channel where we expose cult nonsense, laugh at the absurdity, and hopefully unbrainwash ourselves in the process. So much to cover today. Scientology is pushing Jenna and Bodhi Elfman as their new power couple, and I'm putting that in quotes. Liz Gale gives us the rundown. We're going to look at that because even I'm not sure why. Meanwhile, ex-Scientologists Aaron Smith-Levin and Jenna Miscavige are sharing the truth about their relationship. We're going to go ahead and look at some clips from that video and talk about it. Let's see. We're also going to talk about Scientology's latest propaganda tactics, from their UK front groups to spreading information to Scientology Denmark trying to appeal a restraining order. Lots of craziness going on, even more in the US, including Scientology Audit Streets LA shutting down the Hollywood Testing Center right when they were in the middle of recruiting somebody. We're going to look at that. So grab your coffee, grab your drink. I've got some guava ginseng tea I'm trying out that I brought back from Hawaii. Grab your emotional support animal, whatever it is, and let's talk culty. I actually haven't tried it yet. Oh, sorry. I should have tried that before I started because that's absolutely amazing. I need to figure out how to get more of that. I can probably get it online or get my sister to grab it in a grocery store and send it to me, but I love it. Aloha. Keep throwing those alohas in the chat, everybody. So great to see you. We are going to kick things off by talking about a protest coming up in Perth, Australia, where Perth Scientology Audit put out a call to action calling all Aussies. Let's take a look at this. It says protest announcement.
Fellow Perthies, Aussies, anyone from around the world, if you can, please come and join me at Perth.org for a peaceful protest on the 13th of March. I will be there to protest against the abuses of Scientology and to hold a small candlelit vigil at sunset to honour the lives that have been lost due to the abuses and to keep their story alive and raise awareness. I would really appreciate any support. If you're unable to attend, please just check into my live stream. I will be scheduling it shortly before the event. Please like, share and subscribe to Perth Scientology Audit to help spread.
So that is coming up. I will link that and any other videos that I'm sharing down below in the description right after this. So happy she's doing that. So cool. So cool indeed. Yep, she's amazing. I love that she's doing that. And remember, in March, it is L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. So it's massive cult scramble time in Scientology. Their year goes from March 13th, L. Ron Hubbard's birthday, to March 13th, of course, L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. So they all have to do this mad dash to get their statistics up. Every week in Scientology goes Thursday, 2 o'clock to Thursday, 2 o'clock. You know, one thing I'm not aware of, and many, you guys might know the answer to this. In other cults, do they do something similar in terms of statistics, or is it just like money, money, money? Because Scientology quantifies every job in Scientology with a statistic that each individual staff member has to graph on a daily and weekly basis, and you are judged purely by that, not who you are as a human being. In Scientology. No, it's on what can you do for the group? What have you done for me lately is pretty much the theme in Scientology. And I'm not aware yet if other cults kind of do that same thing, but I guess Scientology has such a business model that they are trying to pretend is a church model. So I'm not sure anybody falls for that, but you guys tell me if you know anything about that. I'd like to know. Hunter Bay says, no, not that I've heard of. I don't think so either. Maybe something though. Dieter's like, probably. I kind of think so too. There must be another version of that. So something to keep an eye out for, because now I'm thinking about it. Do they do that? What happens? Okay. Anyways, check that out if you're in the Australia area. Who knows? Maybe you're somebody who has the ability to just jump on a plane and go to a protest in Australia. If you do that, I want to hear from you because that sounds super cool. I have not been to Australia. It's so far, but sometimes I think when I'm home in Hawaii seeing my family, I'm already almost halfway there. One of these days, I'm going to have to make the jump and go over there and check it out. Irina says, I do not know of any other cult that does it in such a corporate stat targeted based way, but many other religion groups set more general targets for members. That makes sense, Irina. And if you guys don't know Irina, she's fabulous. She brings a lot in the chat. She's a former Sea Org member as well, overseas even. So usually brings some really interesting tea when it comes to Scientology being culty. Aloha, Kayla. Aloha, everybody popping in. If y'all could do me a solid, head over to that like button and give it a little right there. I would really appreciate that. Now, let's take a look at a video from Mona. Fat Grammy sat down and she did an interview with Scientology Up North. I fangirl so bad when, whether you're a live streamer or protester or just even other content creators, even in other genres, in other cults, when they come together, I just lose my mind. I don't know why. Does anybody else do that? I'm just like, oh, I love seeing these two people together. I want to hear what they have to say. I love the collaborative feel of it. And they sat down and did this to talk about, if you don't know, Miriam is, I wanted to say Perth. No, Scientology Up North. That is her channel. And she's on a clip we're going to look at with Fat Grammy. And Miriam does all kinds of things in Denmark when it comes to exposing Scientology. She has someone who's never been in Scientology, but is all in on ending this cult. And I love, yep, K-Love, you too. I do love seeing them together. I'm glad I'm not the only one who fangirls out here about this. I just really like... I'm so geeky about it. It is borderline embarrassing at times. I'll be sitting at home, minding my own business, scrolling on my phone, boom. And I'm like, oh, they're doing this together. I love it. Me and Taz, you two, all the time. Okay, good. I've got some interviews I need to line up that I was working on before I made the mad dash last minute trip back home. I need to get those going again. I'm going to do an interview with Janice Grady. She was in the Sea Organization way back in the day, works right under L. Ron Hubbard. I think she's got some great stories and stuff. So I'm going to be getting going on that. So let's take a look at a clip from this video that's on with Fat Grammy and Scientology Up North, where she shares with what's happening with, because you know Scientology trying to like be so extra, right? Trying to do the least while being the most. That pretty much describes them in a nutshell. And they had gotten this restraining order, or tried to. It got dropped. Now they're trying to be extra about it. Give this a listen.
During the time that they have made the initial appeal and the police contacting me, they have been gathering new evidence, I found out. So there was a lot of dates that I went through with the police. Every time that I have been live streaming, and sometimes there were some dates that were not correct. I had not even been present by the org. I had made a live stream, but I was not anywhere near Scientology at the time.
Oh, you believe that? Like, this is the level that this cult, Scientology, is trying to go to claim that she's videoing staff members going in and out of Scientology buildings. Meanwhile, girl was like across town. Her live wasn't even near there. That is so extra. And you know what? We need to wake up the Office of Special Affairs. I know it is Saturday. Wait, where did I put Davey? I moved him. Honestly, I don't like him being on camera in the background with his negativity. What is it? Somebody told me too. I got a couple comments. We don't like seeing Davy by the mermaid because, you know, the mermaid is my spirit animal. If mermaids are animals, which I'm not sure how they qualify, being fictitious too. But I thought, you know what? Good point. They don't need to be there. They can be over here away from the body thetans that Farrell Cheryl made. Those are loving body thetans, or as my grandkids call them, baby thetans. And honestly, I prefer that term. Baby thetans. They're so cute. My grandkids, when my youngest granddaughter, Mina, comes over, she's 3, she grabs them all up and carries them all around the house. And she has her own. And Farrell Cheryl gave some to my grandson, Oliver, too. In fact, I still have some of these body thetans in my Christmas tree, which, yes, my Christmas tree is still up. Just park your judgment over here, okay? I'm going to get to it. I'm not sure when. Hey, anybody else got their Christmas tree up? Tell me in the chat. I'm going to wake up Osa. Is your tree still up? No judgment, because mine is. I don't know when I'm taking it down. David Miscavige. Oh, face the front. Please. What is happening? Oh, this one's backwards. Please wake up your staff. And on Saturdays, you guys know I like to be a little gentle. because the Office of Special Affairs, some of them have this morning off too. Pay to do their laundry. Use their measly $47 a week after working 100 hours to go get some unscented shampoo, some unscented laundry stuff, and go then pay the Scientology Sea Org machines to do your laundry. So I try to be like a little bit nicer to them. But you should be aware, Office of Special Affairs, because we're going to get into some stuff that I think is going to make your head explode. Truly, 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 truly. Northern Girl says, no, Natalie, you're the only one left who has her tree up. I believe it. I believe it. Okay, but Buckled Up Buttercup, that person's tree just came down yesterday. So I feel like that's really, really close. Julia, you took care of yours. We just took down mine. Nice. Mock, thank you. You go. Embrace the magic. Keep the tree. It's actually starting to annoy me a little bit. So I got to take it down. I need it to look different. I do. Skyfire, thank you. The other day I forgot to woke them up and I thought, what are they going to think? I don't want them to think I don't care. I don't, because I do, Office of Special Affairs. I will throw shade at you every day because you work for a human trafficking cult. But if and when you are ready to leave Scientology in all seriousness, let's be honest. There's a lot of help out there for you. There's your life is not going to implode. You're not going to like bear all of the lies they tell you of what will happen when you leave. It's not true. It is up to you. You get to create your life after a cult. And let me tell you this, if you've been in the Sea Org for a long time, or even if you're a Scientologist and just under the radar, meaning like you want to leave, but you still got a family situation, know this, you are strong. You made it this far. You have survived Scientology, and it only gets better after you leave. So know that. Keeping the hope alive here. Let's see. Okay, I probably shouldn't fall too behind on the starred comments either. So I'm going to keep an eye on those. Hunter Bay said, yes, we had to track our contracts in LDS, but nothing pressured. That was 40 years ago. Okay, interesting. So not as bad as like how crazy Scientology gets with those things. Interesting. My field was statistics, the real kind. Scientology statistics are ridiculous. Buckled Up Buttercup, that is so interesting. You know, if you wouldn't mind shooting me an email, Natalie at lifeafteraCult.com, I would love to talk to you about that. I would love to maybe do a video or share the ridiculousness of it, because statistics and production and producing is such a driving force in Scientology and the Sea Organization. And in other areas, like if it's a real job that you get paid adequately for, I could see it. But more and more, as I continue to unbrainwash myself, it's also in recognizing that our lives shouldn't be driven by statistics in this way. But I would like to hear more about how people who study actual statistics, how they actually use them, because all I know is the Scientology way of doing it. So I'd love to hear from you. Robot Rabbit, I keep my Halloween decorations all year, not going to judge negatively people who want to keep the joy around longer. Okay, I got to be honest though, okay? And I know this is going to stay with us because I know you guys are solid. It's just me, it's just you all. I don't have my tree up because of the joy that it brings. My tree is still up because I procrastinate. Sometimes I just feel lazy, and I'm trying to embrace the laziness because it so goes against most of my life. And I don't even want to use the word lazy. I've been prioritizing self-care. Let me put it that way. So I just haven't done it. It's bringing me no joy right now. So I can't pretend that it's that. But I appreciate though that you said that. I really do. Thank you. Marilyn Honig, Coffee Cults and Crafts says, we had a soul winner thermometer. Oh. And so Marilyn was in this crazy cult as well, which I think most of you know, and fundraising thermometers for numbers, but nothing that organized. Oh, interesting. Okay. Myrna, I still have all Christmas decorations inside the house. You do you. But I am seeing that most of you do have it, taken down. So I am going to get to that. Probably not today, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Okay, let's take a look. Let's jump over to the UK, because guess who's acting a fool? Yeah, Scientology, exactly. Trying to be all extra with their front groups as per usual, doing the least, being the most. Here, this is from Apostate Alex, and it's a clip from his video about Scientology Human Rights Front group targeting Croydon. I think that's, or is it Croydon? It's a city in the UK. I do know that. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Scientology workers have been spreading propaganda in South London once again, this time under the banner of their United for Human Rights Front group. In an article in St. Hiller, the magazine Scientology produces in-house, in which it reports on church news local to its headquarters near East Grinstead, Scientology claims volunteers distributed 1,000 What Are Human Rights booklets in Croydon on Saturday, the 4th of January, and that the public were receptive of the information and curious about it. And the shop owners were very happy to take their booklets for their customers to read. However, it does not confirm whether the volunteers identified themselves as Scientology representatives or disclosed that the material was produced by the church. Scientology workers have been spreading propaganda in South London once again, this time under the banner.
Oh, it started replaying again. I was so distracted by reading the pronunciation of Croydon. Croydon. As an American, I don't know. Croydon. That sounds like I'm trying to use an English accent, which I do sometimes because my youngest sister, who was never in Scientology, she's like 16 years younger than me. We share the same dad who didn't understand how babies were made for a long time. And thank goodness, because he gave me 2 more siblings who I absolutely love and adore. But my youngest sister was raised in England. So she was born in Hawaii, looks similar to Lana and I, for those of you who've met my sister Lana on the channel. But she's got this English accent. I think it's fabulous. I love it. It's interesting. Okay, so Croydon. So Feral Cheryl's saying like Croydon. Interesting. Miss Sunrise Dawn. The only reason my tree is down is because my mama came over and took it down. Oh, I love that. Dr. MLS, we just took the tree down 2 weeks ago. Latest ever. We did it for the kids. Yeah, right. Mock says, I use the Halloween fairy lights all year round because I love them. Who gets to tell you what time to celebrate your holidays, especially the joyful ones? I want to get my hands on some fairy lights that I can put outside. That's been on my list there. Oh, and if anybody can help out Kelly over in Wisconsin, I'm looking for a hoodie or tee that just says Scientology is a cult. Can anyone point me to where I can find that? I think I saw some suggestions in the chat there. Kelly in Wisconsin. I so say that. Kelly, don't I sound Midwestern? I've lived in Minnesota for like 30 years, and I know I totally have some of the accent because I go home, but I feel like because I don't speak pidgin English all the time at home that, you know, well, yeah, it does sound like a Minnesota accent. I will admit that. They tease me back home. But it's so easy to break into the pidgin English that a lot of the locals speak the way they speak there once it starts. Let's see. Okay, next thing here. We got a little bit of protest news that I want to hit on, and then we'll get to Aaron Smith-Levin and Jenna Miscavige. This next clip we're going to look at is from none other than Scientology Audit, Streets LA, who was over by the Hollywood Testing Center. And lo and behold, the door was open. Normally it is shuttered. Blinds are down. You cannot see through. It's like things are blacked out. It's like Fort Knox over there. They don't even want you seeing through a little sliver. That's what Scientology don't even want to give up a sliver of it. So watch this. This was hilarious to watch. I'm going to be honest. Check it out.
Oh, it's a cult. It's a cult. This is Scientology. You don't want anything to do with this place. This is Scientology. They're trying to. There you go. Just get out of there. Don't give them your information. Don't give them your information. They sent you out the side door. What happened?
She was like, we'll send you at the side door and shit. We just wanted to go in because we know it's a cult.
You know it's a cult.
So I was like, I just want to know like what technique you even have in there. Like,
So you're familiar with that?
oh yeah.
It's so interesting that they go and they have a conversation with him afterwards. Like they were in there just curious, in not a curious, I want to learn more about Scientology because I think it can help me change my life. No, they're in there like, I got to see what this BS is about. I want a story to tell my friends. I need something to tweet about. I mean, just curious in the most morbid of ways. And I wish that we could hear better because I couldn't fully hear what they were saying. But I'm sure it's similar to other people who went in there and were like, yeah, it's a cult. It's a cult. They tried to sell me a $50 book, even after I said no. I love it. I think there's a little bit left of that clip. Let's watch it. Hold on, I don't have it pulled up here. I'm watching it by myself.
Oh yeah.
And it says I don't need them. Oh, it's a cult. It's a cult. This is Scientology. So you're familiar with that? Yeah, well, I mean, so were they outside or were you guys walking?
No, we were just like, we just wanted a pamphlet so that we could read their bullshit.
Did you ever take their personality test?
No.
I took it online.
Oh yeah.
And it says I don't need them. Oh, it's a cult.
Did you catch that part? Street says he took the personality online and it said he didn't need them. Yeah, old Fritz, I agree. They were there to troll. Hunter Bay, I noticed that they upgraded the doors to automatically close. I thought so by watching the video because that door was like, it's like somebody's got a clicker. Does she keep it in her pocket? Is security doing it? Now I got to know who's closing the door. How does this work? But you know what? I guess props to Scientology for making more automatic and easier. Is this something we're going to see at other Scientology organizations where it's just an automatic shut the door kind of thing like that? I don't know. I don't know. Power Lies to Paralyze says, I heard Scientologists sling the best niacin. Oh my gosh. Professor Furberger, William will probably talk about the interaction on his channel. No doubt. No doubt at all. That's right, old Fritz. I was forgetting to share again. No, I didn't freeze. I was just staring at the screen watching the video by myself. Julia, me too. Love Streets. Love that he's out there doing that. Lauren says the best is when they try to sell you a $50 book. Then you pull out your phone and point out that you can get the same book used for less than $5 used online. Did you do that? That's hilarious. And you're so right. That's the crazy thing. $50 for a book. Let's talk about this for a minute. $50 for a book they produce themselves. Bridge Publications. Don't they make all the books for Scientology still? So they produce these books themselves on the backs of massively underpaid Sea Organization members. Now, technically, Bridge Publications, they're supposed to pay their staff, I think, at least minimum wage. They have more of a traditional corporate structure. It's different. I don't know why exactly, but I remember being in the Sea Organization and people wanted to go work for Bridge Publications because you got paid more money. So you had a little bit of extra pocket money when you were a Sea Org member, which is so rare. But they make it themselves. Like they have the facilities. These things are being made and printed by people making less than $50 a week, if you're even paying them at all. So how is it, Scientology, that you charging $50 for a book? I think it's because they don't sell many of them and they have to make it up in dollar amount over quantity. Tell me what you guys think. If you're familiar with the world of book sales and all that, even better. I don't know a lot about it. All I know is, you know what? That's ridiculous that it's $50, especially in this day and age. Shannon, thank you. Looking super cute. Love the hair. I'm feeling it. I'm just like, it's a little crazy. And Nancy totally gave me side eye about it. Sometimes I wear something crazy just to push her buttons. And honestly, some days I just don't want my hair touching me. It's a thing. You know, sometimes the tag on the back of your shirt might bother you. For me, it's my hair touching my face. There are just some times where I'm like, nope, today is not a day where my hair gets to touch my face. And then I go, whoop. But I like it. It's so much easier than actually doing my hair, which I really don't like doing. I don't enjoy it at all. This might be my look from here out. Oh, Farrell Cheryl, to the point. I just bought History of Man for $7, used and in excellent condition. Somebody sent me, a former Scientologist. Yeah, I have a copy of History of Man as well. It's a crazy book. It's almost like somebody on drugs wrote that book. And knowing what we know now about L. Ron Hubbard, if you caught my interview recently with John Atack, who wrote Let's Sell Them a Piece of Blue Sky, or you read his book, you know that L. Ron Hubbard did a lot of his research while high on drugs. They don't tell you this in Scientology. They do not. You are fully led to believe that when you are exploring your past lives, using some type of crazy controlled imagination with the e-meter, that all of these things are valid and real. At no point were we told that while doing the operating thetan levels and getting rid of body thetans, alien souls attached to you, that L. Ron Hubbard himself was on phenobarbital. No, we were not told that at all. Had I been told that and really known that, I might not have accepted it right away because I was in a cult and brainwashed. But that would have been something that would have made me go, what the heck? Yeah. Buttercup 49. People with autoimmune are sensitive to things touching skin sometimes. Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. I do have 2 autoimmune diseases, which, really create situations where I physically kick my own ass. That's what autoimmune disease is. Your body creates antibodies that then attacks you. It's crazy. Yeah, it sucks. But yes. Oh, Mach 2. Hair can be sensory issue big time. Can be a sensory issue big time. Interesting. Yeah, you're right, Anna from Canada. History of Man is the book where it talks about people being from clams. I got to show you guys something. Oh, wait, is this inappropriate? Hold on, I got to think quick. I don't think it's inappropriate. See, as a Scientologist, I see this differently. But if I'm not in Scientology, the hat wasn't made. There's a hat I got that I want to show you. It wasn't made by Scientology. It means something else. But I think it's something like a little kind of empowering. All right, I know this is like midstream. I never do this, but I'm going to go grab it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourself. All right. Okay, you ready? Could you guys see when I stood up, I'm still wearing my pajama pants? It's Saturday. And I know what you're saying. Natalie, we know you're wearing pajama pants all the other days of the week. And you're right. Most of them I am, except when I have to leave the house to, be around people. Then I put on regular pants because that's what they expect. And I've been asked to do that. Okay, so check out this hat that I got. I'm not going to put it on because, I got the hair going on. But speaking of History of Man, the book that talked about said that human beings were once clams. And because we were clams, who then were learning to breathe, the water coming forward and us like inhaling it and all that gave us anxiety. Did you guys know this is the root of anxiety in Scientology, is that we were once clams? No joke. It's in a History of Man. This is not even a confidential level. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars. I've read it. So anyways, I found this hat and I thought it was appropriate. Can you see it? Jam out with your clam out. I texted a picture of it to Relatable Reese the other day. I'm like, I got this and I blame you. Right? Is it everything? So can I wear it in public? Or I don't know. You guys tell me. I mean, let's be honest. I'm probably not going to wear it in public, but I might wear it online. Because of the clams, that we all came from being clams. But then I realized, well, wait, Natalie, it means something different. And I had to look it up. I had to ask ChatGPT what it meant. And it explained it to me, but it did sound like it was kind of an empowering thing. Right? So you guys got to tell me, can I wear that? Yeah, Nancy just told me in the private chat what the clam is. I know I looked that up, but I think it's more not literal, right? You don't I'm not going to walk around with some kind of see-through front pants or something, or pantsless. Okay, Power Lies to Paralyze says, do not wear that in public. Yeah, Emily, I did learn what it means outside of Scientology. That's why if you don't know the Scientology meaning, it just doesn't land the same. And I recognize that, which is why I haven't worn it yet. Expat Heather, people will not think about it the same way you do, so I do not recommend it. Yeah, that's kind of the idea I got, or that was my feeling on it. Unless I'm doing a live stream specifically about maybe history of man or that topic, I don't think it'll go over the way, Nancy. I just don't think it would go over the way that it would. Now, amongst former Scientologists, I feel like it's really funny, right? My former Scientologists back me up in the chat. Farrell Cheryl says, it's too much of an icebreaker for weirdos to approach you and ask about your clam. Exactly. Yeah, that's totally right. Super Weekend Warriors, yes, you might get some unwanted attention. I will not be wearing that in public. I don't think so. Never say never, but probably not. I don't plan it. Eunice Swagpan says, wear it out, but only to a nude beach. That would work. I have never been to a nude beach. Just sidebar quickly, just real quickly. I want to go off topic here. Because again, I'm going to tell you guys something because it's only us. And I know you're going to keep this between us and not tell anybody else. When I was in Greece years ago, I went on this trip. And it was on a cruise and we went to these different islands in Greece. I was on the hunt for a nude beach. I'd never been to one. And I was very curious. I wanted the experience, but I was there in the off season. So everything was closed down. So I still have never been to a nude beach, but I'm not ruling it out. It's not top of my list. I'm not trying to prioritize it. But you guys tell me, has anyone been to a nude beach? We won't tell anybody. We won't. Hey, Molly Lang. Good to see you. Molly, have you been to a nude beach? I'm waiting for some answers here. Has anybody been to a nude beach? Is it worth it? Hunter Bay, agree. The hat is not for public use. I agree. Some of you are encouraging it, though. Satowani, how do you say that? I'm gonna call you Sato. You should just go ahead and jam out with your clam out. Why not? Andrew says Xenu gonna get jealous. What's over between me and Xenu? Once I found out that he owed child support to Farrell Cheryl, and he was over there trying to basically massively flirt with Liz Gale. I'm like, no, I'm out. Let's see, was anybody in a nude beach? Marfta, Natalie's new. I know I'm not supposed to say those two words on YouTube, but I don't know the other way to say it. Single fans, something like that. Oh, me and Taz. I lived near a nude camping ground in Quebec. Okay, I got to tell you guys real quick here why I think it would be an interesting experience, because I think it's very humbling and there's a lot of humility. Let's be honest. I am a 54-year-old middle-aged woman who pretty much does not work out. I am not the body that people want to go to a nude beach and seek out and see. But I'm cool with that because I embrace my menopause body. And the idea of being comfortable in public naked, I don't know, there's something about it that feels like it pushes me beyond certain social norms and boundaries that if I get beyond that, because, we all sometimes think about what people think about us and it can be introverting. And I feel like that going to a nude beach or something like that is the ultimate in putting that down and going, look, I'm here, I'm naked, and this is what it is. It could be so freeing. I mean, I don't even want to wear a two-piece bathing suit. I do have some fabulous one-piece bathing suits though. So that's kind of my thought process with that. So you guys tell me what you think. Interesting. Natalie, this is your lucky day. There's a nudist beach in East Bethel, Minnesota. Stop. Seriously? No. At a lake? Okay, I need to hear more. Can you email me? I know you know my email, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. So that's near me. I mean, that's in Minnesota, right? Okay, summer's coming up, y'all. This might happen. This might be a thing. Who's with me? Anyone else in your area go to a nude beach? It sounds very freeing. I don't know. I would love to hear from people who've actually done it. Robot Rabbit, being nude in public is quite freeing. Take a minute to get used to it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I could be like so far out and wrong about this. Thank you, Carlos Levenweiss. Elizabeth, yeah, with my clothes on, I felt stupid. But did you take your clothes off? Mock, thank you for being a member for 10 months.
Aloha.
I'm German. We have a huge, it's just bodies and nudity culture. And it's actually very good to take the pressure out of your looks. It's just bodies. See, that's kind of how I feel, or I want to feel. And I know the Europeans, you guys are much better at embracing that than Americans are. So I don't know. I just feel like S got your first pole dance fitness and now nude beach. Oh my, I know somebody should report me to Scientology. It's seriously. Yeah, no, Jojo, don't worry. I'm not doing a live stream from the nude beach. No. The whole idea is I just want to see, is it freeing? Does it help you let go of some insecurities? It's kind of like how for me growing out my gray hair is. I've never grown out my gray hair till now. I haven't colored my hair since October. You guys have been along for that journey. Marfta, no way can you live stream at a nude beach. I definitely would not do that out of respect for other people. Solo Dove did. You went topless once, but burnt a nip. Not a good feeling. That's another reason. You definitely need some really good sunscreen. Okay, enough about that. I've been so sidetracked. Oh, hell no. My clam shall remain covered. Yeah, Mar, I hear you. But might just be me this summer and my hat. I don't know. Okay, so let's go to Texas. Let's go to Austin. Let's talk about, there were a couple live streamer Scientology protesters out there. And I think the first clip we have is Hitzel protesting Scientology Austin. And of course, what did they do? Bring in the blind tag after they got what Scientology calls raw meat. Again, this is not my word. Scientology calls new people raw meat. When they get the raw meat in to do a personality test or watch a film, they're to sell them a book. It is totally what they call them. I always thought it's been gross. But she caught them in the action recruiting. They got one in the door.
Keep your friends protected from Scientology.
Love it. So they did get that person in the door, but makes me wonder, is it like the others where they're just going in? Oh, no, I'm not muted. Am I muted? No. Where they're just going into troll. You got to wonder. I kind of feel like that's the only reason any young people will be going into a Scientology organization these days. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Janet from Another Planet. Calling the new people raw meat. It's been that way since I was a child. I remember it. My mom, when I was a kid, was a Scientology body rodder in Hawaii, in Waikiki. And I remember even them going, all right, what's your raw meat target? What's your raw meat target? And later on, when I joined the Sea organization, worked for Scientology in their Division 6, which is getting in new people, it was still being thrown around. And I was uncomfortable with it then. Because again, who does that? Who does that? Scientology does that. A cult does that. Truly indeed. I think so, Janet from Another Planet. I think they call them raw meat as a way to dehumanize, because think about it. Scientology recruitment tactics are incredibly invasive. They're invasive. They ask you questions about your finances, your sex life. They're trying to find what your ruin is. What is the thing they can find out about you, rub your face in it, and then when you're all upset, because when we're upset, we don't have the ability to use that part of our brain that goes, girl, this is a cult, get out. We're upset, we're overwhelmed, and then they try to slide in, now buy this $50 book, do this course, this will help you, this will save you. Remember, Scientology is the organization that for quite a while, when new people would come in, showed them a film that ended with the host on the film saying, oh, you could leave here right now and do nothing with Scientology, but you could also blow your brains out. I mean, who does that? Who does that? So I do believe it's part of the process of dehumanizing. Because if you see new people as raw meat and not people with feelings, lives, families, it's easier for you to do your job as a Scientology staff member. They have to dehumanize those people. I'm glad you said that, because that is an excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah, it's so gross. It's so nasty. Northern Girl, thank you for the reminder. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate it. Now, also in Austin, Miss Kim was out there. And check out what happened there. Both Miss Kim and Hitzel you can find here on YouTube. I'm going to link links down below after this video.
Delphi Academy lawsuit. It'll be the first thing on Google. They protected a child predator, didn't send him to the police, and he attacked many children. Look it up.
Go Miss Kim. Okay, we do know in Austin, they do not have the electronic doors that they have in Hollywood at the Hollywood Testing Center. So we did see that. Yep, Janet from Another Planet. Love Miss Kim. She is a trooper. Me and Taz says, I prefer my meat well done. Gotcha. Okay, men being called raw meat, but I get better women called raw clams. No, they are not. Everybody's raw meat in Scientology. All new people, doesn't matter. Magnus, excellent point. They want raw meat so they can cook it with the e-meter. If you follow Power Lies to Paralyze, if you're not, you should. You can find him here on YouTube. He's done so many videos that really explain how Scientology's e-meter works, and is currently, I think, working on trying to get people together who have e-meters to do some tests to kind of make that point. So check it out. Check it out. Hey, Renee, good to see you. Okay, where am I at? Let's take a look now at Liz Gale. Liz Gale brought something to our attention, and I was like, ooh, I didn't know this. I love that she's covering this stuff. Check this out. Liz Gale is talking about who Scientology is pushing forward as their new power couple, Jenna Elfman and Bodhi Elfman. Check it out.
Has Scientology chosen its new power couple? Because we all remember how Jada and Will Smith worked out, right? These two, Jenna and Bodhi Elfman. Remember Jenna from Dharma and Greg, and Bodhi from being married to Jenna from Dharma and Greg. They are giving a flag seminar. Do you see that? Flag is Scientology's base in Clearwater, Florida. Their huge compound where they have taken over an entire town.
They even have a song about it. Let's not forget the song. Flag is here. Oh, it's just so grating. So grating.
And looky who's going to be there. Let's read the fine print, shall we? Bodhi, new OT5. So he has reached the confidential levels above the state of clear.
He has gotten rid of literally thousands of alien souls attached to him, and he is paid tens of thousands, if not well over $100,000 for the honor of doing so.
On Scientology's Bridge to Total Freedom. Class 4 auditor. That means that he is trained on Scientology's, quote, religious device, the e-meter. He can interrogate people.
Yep, he can interrogate people. I'm going to link that down below. You guys got to watch the whole video. It's like 9 minutes long, not a long watch. Awesome info, including the details of this thing coming up. I missed the date, though. I'm not sure if it already happened or not, but very interesting, because you're right, Kelly BC. Haven't seen anything about Jenna Elfman in a long time. I know. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, here, look, Bodhi and Jenna Elfman. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why. They're trying something. Power Lies to Paralyze. Are they even sitting together? That pic looks photoshopped. Could be. Could be. Hey, Becky. I used to watch that show. Yeah, Dharma and Greg. Me too. Me too. Hey, Dingoes ate my name. I love that. Better late than never. New subscriber.
Aloha.
Thank you for being here. Cubana Chica, on time is when you get here, but I appreciate you being here. Now, let's go to Clearwater, Florida, because so many people were out there last night because it's flag graduation. On Fridays, if you don't know this, at almost every Scientology organization, they host what's called graduation. And Fridays are when people come together who completed their courses, who got rid of just the right amount of body thetans to finish an operating thetan level, and they celebrate them. They give inspiring speeches about how their newfound operating thetan powers now allow them to change lights with their mind. Traffic lights, yeah. To move storms away from Clearwater. This is where you get to hear all these winds. Once in a while, David Miscavige himself will show up. I think if they're really trying to do a money grab is when he shows up. So yeah, outside flag on a Friday night. They got a lot going on, and not much going on because really there aren't a lot of Scientologists anymore, let's be honest. And they've got this fabulous sign they put out there, honk if Scientology is a cult. That's Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology, who brings his Tom Cruise cutout. Check it out. This is a clip from Feral Cheryl on the loose.
So funny.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to start this from the beginning.
That is so cute. That is so cool.
And then surrounded by Scientology, George is there and he's got my sign. When I was in Clearwater, I left it there because I knew I'd be going back to protest. And I'm so happy that he busted it out and was using it there. It made me feel like a little piece of me was there too.
Oh, so we know who they are. So funny.
Cheryl's laugh is everything. Look at George there getting brought up to the car there. They had a lot of fun, and multiple streamers are out there, so you can see it from different angles. You can see just the chat is fun. But Feral Cheryl was out there. Dusty was there, Growing Up in Scientology, surrounded by Scientology. Jamie, I think Jamie Castro was out there. I wasn't sure if Erica was there or not. Paralyzed to Paralyzed. I love how chill Dusty is. I agree. Dusty is chill. Dusty is chill. Old Fritz, you were getting lots of shout outs, Natalie. I did catch part of it, but then I wanted to go hang out with my grandson. But I appreciate that so much. Yeah, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Cheryl has the best laugh. You cannot just help but laugh if she is laughing. You really can't. Janet from Another Planet, George said he had your sign. Yeah, he has been protecting it and taking care of it. Jamie, oh good, so you were there. You just joined. Awesome. Erica too, fabulous. That's so great. Yeah, I was only able to catch a piece because, you know, when you get an opportunity to do something with the grandkids, you want to grab it. My grandson's at that age. He's 7 going on 35 though, where it's kind of like he's not very impressed by me. Although he does want to be a YouTuber, and that is the biggest thing. I think that, you know, he always wants, like, Grandma, can we do a video? I do love that. Okay, so now where am I? Let's go over now and let's talk about the video that Aaron Smith-Levin and Jenna Miscavige did. Was it last night? It was last night. Yes, Swedish Andrea, I agree. Their energy is contagious. So true. Jenna was there, but not streaming. That is correct. That is correct. So let's see. I do have a couple clips to use as a jumping point off of here to talk about this. And I'm talking about it because they did their video. This has been a story in a situation that is theirs to tell, theirs to share. And well, let me share. You know what? Let me grab this clip here. Yeah, Marlene, I'm gonna have Oliver on again soon. He's been asking, but we haven't been able to line up our schedules. So my first clip, let's look at where they were talking about sorting out things with love and compassion versus not. In Scientology, especially in the C organization, in a cult, the way things are handled are with fear, with control, with intimidation, all of these ways where it's just they're trying to control you. I'm sure you guys have no idea. what that's like, because it's not limited to a former cult, right? It also can happen in high control groups. It could be, you could have really controlling people in your lives, all that lead to doing that. And it's just not healthy behavior. And I think we know that. And part of leaving a cult, you can physically leave a cult. Why am I saying it like that? Cult. But mentally, sometimes it takes a while to undo that programming that existed for some from birth, growing up with it. It takes some doing to separate out who you are versus who the cult was and what they indoctrinated you to believe and the ways that they wanted you to think and forced you to think, and those behaviors that are so programmed within you. That takes a good amount of unprogramming. And for many of us, therapy has been a fabulous tool. Some find tools and some have found peace in other religions or other forms of, however you find that help, however it works for you. I'm not here to tell you what your healing journey should look like and what you should do in that way, but we want to find what it is. And I think that's the key. That's been the key for me in a lot of my healing and figuring out who I am, because there was no before. I was 5 years old when my mom got into Scientology. So going back to who I was, in fact, I just spoke to a former Scientologist the other day about this, who got in as an adult. I'm like, how do you feel about going back to who you were? And he said, well, it's been working for me because I can remember who I was before Scientology. And a lot of us who grew up in Scientology don't have that memory of who we were. And for some, it was from day one, just, with birth, like it starts right away. It really is nuts. Is somebody going to get the phone? Well, I guess it's going to be me. Life After a Cult Hotline. This is Natalie. What? I've disappointed the community. Which community? Because I'm in like 17 group chats and feel like if I was getting excommunicated, someone would have at least texted me. Oh, by the community, you mean you. Okay. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. All right. Yeah, the royal we. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'm associating with the wrong people. Wow, this is very deja vu. I feel like I've been shunned before. Where was I shunned before? That's right, when I was in Scientology and they told me I can't talk to, and they gave me a list of people. I do remember that. But, well, that time it involved an actual cult and fewer YouTube comments. Wait, let me get this straight. You've put together a list of people I'm not allowed to interact with. Like, are you my parole officer? Did I miss a court date? All right, I see. So this is problematic because who gave you bad vibes in 2021? Okay, I see. So you made a personal enemy and now I must take up arms in your honor like a knight in the petty order of YouTube. Yeah, totally normal. Totally reasonable. Wait, you're mad at me for not explaining my intentions to you before I spoke to them. Do you understand? Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but do you think I issue a morning press release on all my conversations? Do people think I just shut down the moment the camera turns off? Like I go into a glass case labeled inactive until next video? Oh my God. Do you think I sleep in the chair? Just staring at the wall like a Sims character on pause once the video stops. My friend, 90% of what I do is not online. I know that's wild, but sometimes I even talk to people. Brace yourself. Without recording it. I know, it's basically sorcery. All right, listen, now, you're looking out for me. Right. Because I'm too naive to know who I should talk to. Okay. You do realize I grew up in a cult and escaped it, right? With 3 generations of my family, and I experienced years of harassment and threats. I'm not exactly new to spotting manipulation tactics. I thought we were anti-cult here. I thought we were all deprogramming together. But no, suddenly we're policing relationships and demanding loyalty. I wonder where I've seen that before. Gosh, why does it seem so familiar to me? Oh yeah, Scientology, the cult I was in for 35 years. Fun fact, that's not how this works. All right, listen, if you don't like who I talk to, that's fine. But if your only two options are they do what I say, they've betrayed me and must be banished, you might be in a cult, even of one. And guess what? You don't have to be in a cult anymore. You're free. You can just watch content, enjoy it, and move on with your life. I know that's a lot to process. Take your time. Yeah, breathing helps. Maybe, touch some grass. I think it's called grounding. You go out without your shoes. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate it. All right. You have a cult-free day. Oh, the hits just keep coming. They do. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Yes. I get so distracted with the hotline, but people just seem to know when to call, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right, to this video now. We're talking about Erin Smith-Levin and Jenna Miscavige. So let's look at this first clip and we shall discuss. Check it out.
Hopefully a good, not we should be an example to anybody, but also that sorting things out with love and compassion is the better thing to do. It's rather than just labeling and hating, which I also have been guilty of in this, also for somewhat understandable reasons, but still I want to be somebody who is kind and puts more love into the world and isn't just perpetuating an endless war or fight. And so if I do that, I want to, even if I do things that I regret, and I also put people feeling like they have to choose, I don't want my having done that to make me feel like I have to stay doing that same thing.
I totally get that. A lot of times, this is all part, from my perspective, of healing from a cult, of healing and changing behaviors and thoughts and figuring out what serves us and what helps us. And that was so beautiful to me, because my focus, what I like to look at a lot on my channel, is life after a cult, right? Talking to people who maybe they're still working through issues, but their life after a cult, what that's like for them, what their experience was in the cult, how can people avoid these cults, right? And how ridiculous many of them are. And it's so Valhalla, it was yesterday. It was a live stream yesterday, and I'll link it down below right after this video. But it was very vulnerable. That is not an easy thing to do. And being that so much of this was made very, very public, I get why they sat down and decided to do this and share this. And as someone who's been friends with both of them, as you guys know, a couple months ago when this first started coming out, all I said to you was, I'm not talking about it. It's not my story to tell and comment on when I'm friends with them. There's a lot of conversations that happen behind the scenes and did that were just never put on a video. But because you don't see it on a video, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And that includes them as well. And that is the biggest reason why I didn't go around doing videos about this, because these are my friends who I was supporting, despite the fact that a few people decided to come at me in the most incredible, hateful ways in comments or emails, accusing me of mainly of not supporting Jenna. And I even got a couple comments about, me not supporting Erin from people who honestly you don't know, because things happen offline behind the scenes that are not on the internet. And when you go around and you make assumptions or judgments, when you don't have all the information, when all you know, maybe your information is coming from one source, maybe two sources, but are you in an echo chamber of what just one things are just one way, or somebody else's agenda or narrative? And you think about your relationships in your private life, right? Whether you're in a relationship with somebody or siblings or friends, right? We've all seen on social media kind of the passive aggressive posts that sometimes people will do about something without naming names. And they're still kind of, putting that out on the internet, but at least they're not naming names. They do it in different ways. It's kind of a human nature thing to a degree. But one thing I know, as someone who has left a cult and is still healing from it, it's complicated. It is so complicated and nuanced. Each of us had a different experience. Some of those were shared experiences, like Jenna growing up in the cadet org. If you've not read her book, check out Jenna Miscavige's book. And if you've read it, try and remember some of what she talked about in that book, and a lot will make sense to you. There's an interview coming up. Actually, she's doing multiple podcast interviews with Tim Fletcher. Some of you might know him, some might not. They talked about this in the video, so I'm not, sharing anything that they didn't put out there. I saw the first one, which isn't out yet, and it blew my mind. I got some healing from it. It was such a healthy perspective and take on some of the things that, happened in Jenna's childhood and how she was raised, and how kids who grew up in the Sea organization or kids who grew up in Scientology, and let's be honest, not even Scientology in the Sea org, if you grew up not being nurtured, not having your needs met, I didn't even know into adulthood that I should have my needs met, or that I can meet my own needs, which is something I know now and I try to do. If I have needs, I try to meet them, because it's me. It's me looking out for me. It is me taking care of me. And whether you're in a relationship or not, what I've learned so far after leaving Scientology is that is a healthier attitude to adopt, right? We have to be able to take care of ourselves and go through our healing. And there are people in our lives that can complement that and can help. And there's also times where it can be very triggering because of the shared experience. And if you didn't watch this video, please watch it, because the vulnerableness they both showed in sharing that part of their life, that the thoughts that they go through their heads, what the difficulties are, I thought was amazing. I really appreciated it, and I really enjoyed it. We're going to look at another clip here. Northern Girl, their emotions were genuine last night, and I just listened to Jenna's book last month. It all makes so much sense. Wait until you see, because it's video 2, the interview that she did with Tim Fletcher. I think it's going to bring a lot of healing for people. Maybe it wasn't Scientology that was your cult or your high control group, because he speaks in those terms. I think it might just blow your mind. It might just blow your mind. He gives some fantastic tools as well. Let's see. Hey, Moose on the Loose, welcome. All right, let's look at this other clip here that I want to share with you all too. Let me get this pulled up. This is also from the video there. Yeah, Julia, they spoke their truth. The fear of being left behind is real. Yeah, Jenna was so vulnerable and open about her biggest fear being abandoned and how that plays out in life and in a relationship. And she is not alone there. She is not alone there. How many of you at some point in your life experienced some type of fear of abandonment? Put a 1 in the chat if that did, right? You don't have to give us all of the details unless you want to. Go ahead. Because I think when we're able to share that vulnerability and you can see like, hey, I'm not the only one too. One of the biggest reasons people have a hard time leaving Scientology, and thank you, I see a lot of you sharing here, you at some point did have or do have a fear of abandonment. Jenna is not alone in this. You are not alone in this. These feelings are common. You do not have to have been in Scientology to have a fear of abandonment or to struggle with relationships or maybe not know how to move forward with them, especially when things are stressful. Wow. A lot of you are sharing, a lot of ones in the chat. Thank you. Thank you for you guys being vulnerable and going through what they went through and then doing a video like that. Because there are going to be people who have a different opinion about it, and you get to have your people have an opinion. They can express it. My advice is regardless of what that opinion is that we all remember and recognize that these are people who are creators on YouTube. And in fact, I'm working on a video right now about online cults. Could your YouTube creator be a cult leader? And I'm talking about parasocial relationships, healthy ones, what that would look like. And then maybe what some not so healthy ones look like, because what you experience online, the content you consume on social media should not leave you feeling massively like icky or upset. It depends on what it is. Some of the topics we talk about when it comes to a cult, it's upsetting, right? But that's why on my channel, I try to interject some humor so that we can educate, entertain, raise awareness. I think it took a lot of, guts to do something like that and open themselves up that way. And the stuff that both of them shared, especially Jenna, just blew my mind. And I cannot wait until you guys see this Tim Fletcher interview. I truly am like, I think there's going to be a couple of them. Okay, let's look at another clip. You're talking about supporting friends in life versus, doing videos about their issues online.
It's only up to the people in the relationship, what they're willing to put up with, how hard they're willing to work, and whether they're going to continue to make it better. Right. And that's where we're at. Like, we're working hard to make this better. And
yeah, and our friends have been amazing. Like some of the
I'm gonna stop it and play it right here. I want y'all to pay attention to this next part. If you saw the video, you know where this is going. Again, a very small number of people, but there were still it's a vocal minority. The hate I got over not exploiting the tragedy, the hard time that my friends were going through was ridiculous. The accusations of, Natalie, you're not supporting Jenna, all of these things. And I said nothing. Why? Why did I say nothing? Because I was supporting my friends. That's why. Because I knew what I was doing. And I don't owe an explanation of that to anybody. And the only reason I'm even talking about it now is because they brought it up. And that's my feeling on when it comes to my friends. I know them in real life. We've spent a lot of time together. Oh, now I'm going to cry. Where's my tissues? These two have helped me so much. And you know what? They're not going around doing videos about what I've been going through or how they helped me, the things that they've done, the way that they've been there. Because that's what friends do. You're there for each other. And when things are rough and we make mistakes and we do things that are blatantly wrong, if you're really friends with somebody, do you abandon them? Do you not try to help? Maybe try and offer another perspective or a better way? It's especially, these are almost halfway happy tears too, because I just don't get that. I don't get throwing people away, especially understanding where they come from, where they came from, and who they are today. Jenna is one of the most thoughtful, caring individuals. And for her to share and talk about, as she refers to it, that she's a psycho, which is funny. And she says that, but I know what she's saying. We know what she's saying. We know how that feels. We've been there. Oh my gosh, I've been there over the years. I have done things I am so not proud of that I would totally qualify as being, psycho like that. And when people have gone through, trauma is never an excuse for bad behavior. And that is not what I'm saying. But I think many of you who has not experienced something difficult and made bad choices, what some might call mistakes, but I think if we can learn from them, then they're not necessarily mistakes. Anna from Canada, thank you so much for the super chat. You are a great friend, Natalie. I appreciate that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It was a lot because let's be real. I'm going through my own shit. I've been going through my own loss and my grief since losing Tony. And I have friends, this community, so many of you. I mean, my chat is basically like an emotional support bubble wrap with their aloha and support of me. Without this community, there's so much. I don't think I'd be where I'm at today and able to do the things I could do today without it. But that also includes these two who've done and been there for me in ways that people don't know about, because that's our personal life. That's, if we want to share it, we share it. As content creators on YouTube, you have your individual choices and boundaries of what you want to share or maybe what you don't want to share. And I'm really proud of both of them for doing this and trying to use communication and skills and tools instead of just, I hate you, I'm throwing you out with the trash, I'm just putting this label on you and it's a done deal. I would hope that if I ever did something, you know, that went against my morals, that wasn't okay, something that, you know, what was a mistake, the wrong thing to do, that they wouldn't turn their backs on me, especially all we've gone through. It's very, you know, they were there. I mean, many of you know, because you watch my videos, when I first found out, when we found out that Tony's cancer spread everywhere, I was on a boat. Tony stayed behind because he wasn't feeling well. We were there in Clearwater because we knew Tony was getting sicker. And he wanted to be someplace warm. It was in April and we live in Minnesota. And it was surrounded by Scientology George, who also helped coordinate getting other friends there. I got to meet in person Kelly Copter, Liz Gale, and of course, Jenna and Aaron were there. Sandy McKenna was on the boat with us too. And, you know, Kai, and in person, in real life, like this played out. And they were there for me and have continued to be. And many of you have been as well. So I look at it like this. I know what it was like leaving Scientology and deprogramming myself from a lot of that thinking. And I'm still doing it today. A cult I've been out of for 15 years. And when I see cult behavior, people telling people who they should, you know, telling people who they can be friends with, who they can't be friends with, who they can talk to, who they can't talk to, and people who've never met certain people, or even judging me, like, you have a right to watch my channel or don't watch it. But I was really surprised by the number of comments that went like this. I love your content, Natalie. I love your content. I love your channel. I love what you do. But I'm unsubscribing because you won't stop talking to Aaron Smith-Levin. That is culty behavior. And that is never something that's going to work with me again. I choose and decide who I communicate with. And you have a choice to watch or not watch, but that's emotional blackmail. It doesn't work. But to try to say, I actually really enjoy your content. So as a content provider, I'm doing my job, but I'm going to try to punish you because you're not saying or behaving in a way that I think you should behave or say. And I want to say this. Neither one of those two have ever told me who to talk to and who to talk to, who not to talk to, who to do videos with, who not to do videos with. We are all independent content creators. And I've always really appreciate that. Julia, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. You're so lovely and loyal, Natalie. I support. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, we got one more. I got another clip to go over here. Hold on. Let's pull that up here. Whoops. Let's look at this and talk about this here. Oh, wait. Is this the one I think it's not done.
The people that have been told that they're not supportive of, like, nobody in this world and universe has been more supportive and helpful to me behind the scenes as Natalie. And
then she just gets dragged for not, like, publicly taking a stand against Aaron. It's like, our friends, honestly, know everything that's been happening in our relationship behind the scenes from the beginning.
I mean, Natalie has spent hours and hours on the phone with me and, like, the hardest moment. So it's like nobody has been more supportive and loving towards me than her.
It's only up to the people in the relationship.
And, you know, I feel the same way about Jenna. I've gotten a huge amount of love and support from her too. And she knows that. I tell her on a regular basis. And I think that's something too. If there are people in your life that you love and you care about, tell them on a regular basis for no reason at all. If you want to give them a gift, give them a gift. No reason at all. I mean, for obvious reasons. Losing Tony really brings that back home, that, you know, we just don't want to take people for granted. We don't. Old Fritz, exactly, Natalie. Sometimes you cover people who have really hated on Aaron. You're an independent woman. Thank you. You guys know that. I've had people on my channel he doesn't get along with. You know what? He has not one time asked me to not do a video with that person or not speak to that person. Not one time. And I have had people on my channel who he doesn't like, who he doesn't care for. Doesn't matter to me. I have my own relationship with him. I have my own relationship with Jenna. I have my own relationship with other people. If they don't get along, that's not my business. That's between them. It doesn't affect my choices, especially on my channel. My channel, Life After a Cult, this is something, it's a passion of mine, but it's also a way partly that I make a living. And I run it that way. I make decisions based on what's going to make the best point. Who can I bring on my channel to share needed information, exposing Scientology further, shining a light on their cultiness, talking about the history of L. Ron Hubbard and how insidious this cult was from day one. That's how I think about who I'm having on. That's how I make the decisions on my channel. Not based on what somebody else is telling me or somebody else's issue with somebody. And at the end of the day, that works for me. And it seems to be, not seems to be, I do believe it is a healthier way of operating. I am not in middle school. I'm not. And the vast majority of you, I want to give you a huge shout out because you have been here. Many of you have sent me very kind messages too. Emails, other comments, because you've seen some of the hate directed at me and claims being made that I wasn't supporting Jenna. And you just heard her own words. And yeah, I'm gloating about it because I have been taking it up the butt here with some of these comments and hateful emails for 2 months. And the entire time I knew what the truth was. I knew what I was doing. I knew who I was helping. I knew what was going on. And I didn't say anything because I'm not going to do that to people I care about when it's not my story. I'm too close to it. And they were going through something. They are going through something. And if they want to share it and talk about it, that's totally up to them. But today we are talking about it. Don Gloves, thank you for being a member for 7 months. Oh, and I forgot the Aloha bill for the last super chat. Aloha. And this one's for Don. Aloha. I like how they're different. They actually have different sounds. The trick to staying true to your heart is knowing your own heart. It's impossible to be led astray when you really know yourself. Wow. That's interesting, Don. And that does make a lot of sense. And I think that's it. I am figuring out myself. Like I was telling you, you know, I left Scientology 15 years ago. 2 years after that, I met Tony. And we had our own ups and downs. But you know what? He was such a huge part of my healing. I think part of what I'm going through is figuring out who I am without him. And how do you figure that out when this person was so much of helping you find yourself after this cult, try new things, think differently, be spontaneous? And it's hard. It's difficult. I don't want to do that, but I need to do that. I got to figure that out. Who am I without him? And so far, I think I figured out that one thing he did is he showed me how to care for myself, like self-care. He always encouraged me to do things for myself. He always encouraged that. He did that for me so much. And I guess my point is, I feel like it's taking me back, you know, like in a way, in my healing with Scientology, because something that's been so stable in my life for 11 years is gone. And I know that I have to figure that out, but it's hard. And sometimes I don't want to. But you know what helps me want to do that it's been my relationship with those two, with Aaron and Jenna, who've gone through their difficulties. And I've talked about this a lot with Jenna. It gives me hope, like that, you know, when things are hard and difficult, there's tools. You got to make your own decisions in your situation. If some of you put yourself in their shoes, you might act differently. You might do something different. And that's okay, because it would be your choice. But we have to let people make their own choices. We have to let people make their own decisions. And thank you, Connie. And as a friend, thank you, Marlene. As a friend, I feel like that's what being a friend is. I support you in your decisions. If I think or feel that you're doing something that's destructive to you or other people I care about, I'm going to let you know, but I'm going to do it in a way that you feel supported, that you feel here's an option, here's a way out of that, here's another way of thinking, here's another perspective, not slam on them and pound them into the ground, because that's what we did in Scientology. That's what we did in that cult. We did it to each other. We did it to other people. Oh, thank you, Anna from Canada. That's what we did. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. And you're totally right. He is my angel still. I don't want to do that. And the fact that they're both at like that too, and saying, we don't want to do that. We don't want to handle this that way. We're recognizing when that comes up, and we're trying to be different and do different. And I'm so proud of them for doing that. And I can't wait to see more of Jenna's content, especially in what she's doing with Tim Fletcher. Thank you, Marlene. I think it can help a lot of people, because you know how hard, put yourself in their shoes. Could you sit there and then do a video in front of all these people, knowing how much BS you were going to open yourself up to as well? But they still did it. And they did it too, and made that point to help their friends who have been with them and there. And we've been like weathering the ups and the downs. And for some of us, taking a lot of heat. I'm not in that relationship, so I don't know why well, I do know why. I think it's a parasocial situation. Why some feel that any of that is my ultimate responsibility or issue, or for me to call out or anything like that. That part I just really don't get. But I get it, because I think it's kind of a parasocial thing. I think we got to remember, these are creators on YouTube, and oftentimes we care about them. There's people I watch too that I really care about, but that I don't know. But I'm not going to go message them and be like, I don't like how you handled this in your personal life. I think that you need to XYZ. It's just not in my nature to do that. Or at least it hasn't happened yet. Marilyn, thank you so much for the super chat. Aloha. Love you, Natalie. You're an amazing, strong woman and such a good friend. I appreciate that. You too, Marilyn. Let's see. Kraken Studio says, please see this point of view. The reason, season, lifetime, a true soulmate. No matter which brackets, always there past goodbye equals Tony is a soulmate. Thank you. And you're right. And who are we to say who's anybody's soulmate is? Because things are rough or difficult or hard, or there's something really difficult to overcome if they decide that's what they want to do in any relationship. It's just not for us to say. Those people have to figure it out. They got to figure it out for them. I've not walked in their shoes. I've not. Jenna and I, Aaron and I, we have shared experiences in this cult. I did not. I was not raised in basically an institution like the cadet organization, like Jenna was, without access. Like, I had some neglectful parents, I mean, but nothing like what it was like growing up in the Sea organization in that way. And it takes a lot of healing and a lot of self-reflection for them to be able to do that. I'm just blown away by it. I really am. I'm absolutely blown away by it. And I think anytime, I don't think it's ever wrong to try to address something with love and with kindness. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Lori Plays, thank you so much. Valhalla, it's good to have a certain degree of not caring what the public thinks about you. Otherwise, you won't be able to handle YouTube. Very true. Very, very true. Lori Plays, nothing to add. Thank you for being a member for 11 months, Lori. Aloha. Just sending love. I appreciate that so much. Let's look at, I think I've got another clip from their video. Let's take a look at that.
And if I like do things that I regret, and I also put people feeling like they have to choose, I don't want my having done that to make me feel like I have to stay doing that same thing. Like, because I've already invested in it. It's like, I actually also need to have the strength to say when I have done something that isn't right or isn't productive for the future, that isn't going to serve me in my life, and to go back to being somebody who I'm proud of. Even if it's like, oh, well, I come across as a liar. It's like, I have to risk that in order to do what I feel like is right and be the person that I want to be going forward. Okay, but you have to talk, because and if I
Oh my gosh, that part just killed me. It's so vulnerable. My glasses are all jacked up right now. I've got like probably snot. It's so vulnerable. It's so honest and truthful and healing. There's probably going to be more ups and downs. That's how life is. Another point they brought up, thank you, Janet from Another Planet. Another point they brought up that I wanted to talk about was, which it just totally left my mind, this idea of, hold on, I absolutely completely forgot. It'll come back, I'm sure. Anna from Canada says, oh man, now I'm going to cry. Yeah, Feral Cheryl, exactly. I was bawling. They had me going. Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, it was the grace. Being able to do this and try to offer grace, because we make mistakes. People make mistakes. People do really stupid things that are not good for them. But we all, one degree in one way. They may not be the same mistakes. They may not be the same issues, but we all have our own issues in our lives where we know we did not show up as our best selves. We know it. You know it when you're doing it, maybe not when you're doing it always, but afterward, you know it. Unless that is who you are. But when it's not, it's not. And choosing the path of trying to show grace and use communication and not just throw people away or go at them. So how is anybody going to heal like that? How does that create an environment here on YouTube with my channel? I talk about aloha a lot because I'm from Hawaii. I'm Polynesian, but also because I believe in what aloha is, which is holding space for people. It's really that simple. It's holding space for people and for yourself. It's trying to lean in with love, because I don't think that's ever wrong. And it also includes grace. And I learned a lot of that way after leaving Scientology. And I learn it all the time with all of you in the time that I've been here on YouTube. Many of you have shown so much grace in situations, and it's easier to give that back. But when the energy coming at you is negative and you're this and you're that, how is that person supposed to actually get better? How are you helping that person? Why does anybody get to do that, especially publicly? I'm just saying. Birdwatcher 36. Gosh, Natalie, you're so accurate about all of us making mistakes. We need to forgive ourselves too. Oh, good point, Birdwatcher. I've had to do a lot of that. December. Aloha for that super chat. I've had to do a lot of that too, and forgiving myself, especially when I grew up in Scientology, but it is never an excuse. My trauma is never an excuse or something to be weaponized to hurt another person. It's not. I share it with you guys, and a lot of times hesitantly. I much rather prefer just talking more in general terms about cult and, trying to elevate other people's voices and their stories than necessarily mine, because it sucks to talk about. I still do, but I talk about a lot of other things, including cults, because here's a big realization I had after 1 year on YouTube, which I should just do a video about this, but I'm going to tell you right now. One of the biggest things I realized after 1 year on YouTube and talking about Scientology is it's bigger than Scientology. I think it's important to talk about the behaviors that come from being in a cult, and it's not just Scientology, or being in a high control group, and how a lot of those behaviors are occurring with people who think they've never been in a cult. Maybe they've never been in a cult, but the behavior is still there. The culty behavior is still there. The need or desire to dictate who somebody spends time with, who they're friends with. To the people who emailed me all that hate and those comments, I'd like to see a list of your friends so I can check them out. So I can look at each one of your friends to make sure they're living their lives in alignment with my moral compass. And I'm going to let you know which ones you should get rid of. How would you react to that? How would you? The vast majority of you don't do that, don't see it that way. We have a good community. You guys offer support for each other and for me. But if the tables were turned on people who think that way and behave that way and think that that is appropriate or a healthy way to be, if you turn the tables, oh, they'd be really upset. What do you mean? I'm not giving you a list of my friends. Why not? You seem to have a lot to say about mine, who I choose to support, when you don't even know what's going on. You don't know what I'm doing. You're not privy to my conversations because, again, like I said on that phone call, 90% of what I do is offline. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Mock, this is interesting. You can actually rewire your brain by showing grace over anger each time you make that choice. Exactly. You know where I learned that? In the oddest of places, from neurologists. From neurologists who I was seeing because my brain had rewired so much that it affected my nervous system. And it was causing my nervous system, my brain, my muscles not to work together, then throw in some autoimmune stuff just for fun. And I was getting debilitating muscle spasms. I had to use a cane for years. It's only been 2 years since I've not been using the cane. And I didn't use it as much as I was supposed to because I hated it and I didn't like it. But it was neurologists who told me, like, hey, what happens in your brain when you grow up or you have trauma? Actually, what they told me was, before I told them about my experience in Scientology, they sat me down, 2 of them, and said, what we're seeing here with what's happening with you, we usually see in people who've gone through multiple tours of duty in the military. And basically they were nicely saying, girl, what is up with you? What happened? Because you weren't in the military, yet your brain, what's happening with you is very similar to that. And then I let them know, and it wasn't long before they were like, oh yeah, that will do it. But you can rewire your brain. You can reprogram those programs. You can get rid of them. You can create new ones. And that's part of what they told me. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a key tool. Managing stress, recognizing the cult think of us versus them, getting rid of that, choosing grace over hate, choosing to try to get to where you can at least somewhat understand. And even if you can't, to not be hating on somebody. That's how we rewire those things in our brain. She's totally right what she just said, by doing it. And I would encourage you, watch what you want, consume the content that you want, but on social media, and I'm talking social media as a whole, if you're watching it and it's leaving you angry, filled with anxiety, that's not healthy for you. It's not. So think about what we consume, what we expose ourselves to. Does it stir it up? Sometimes it's gonna. We talk about difficult topics. We talk about SA. We talk about abuse. We talk about cults. But there's a difference to when somebody is just like pushing your buttons and just creating so much anger and upset where there doesn't need to be any. It doesn't need to be there. It affects you guys, the chat, people who are watching. How many people were like, hey, you know what? A lot of this, because here's another comment I would get or email. Natalie, I love your content. I love what you do, but I can't take all this other stuff. I understand that, even though I'm not doing all that other stuff. I'm not talking about all that other stuff on my channel. Hey, Hey, Aaron, I'm talking about you. It just, that is such an eye opener. And I really appreciate those of you, which is the majority of you, who have been here trying to hold space for me, for other people, for even other people from other cults that I've had on. You've done that. I see you and I appreciate you, and you are my community. That is my audience. When I talk about my community, or I say the community that I want to build, or when I'm speaking to my audience, it is you guys. If you have a different opinion and you disagree, you are welcome to do that. Even here, you just got to do it respectfully. You got to not be an asshole. You can communicate disagreements and have a different point of view. There's a difference between a question and an accusation with a question mark at the end of it. I don't want you guys to agree with everything I say. You should not. You are free to think. Many of you have helped me see things differently on different topics and subjects by sharing your experience or your point of view. But I feel like many of you, like myself, I have been, until now, completely silent about this. Oh, thank you, Miss Fancy Pants. Lower the bar, though. I feel like I'm not. Many of you, as people who are in this community, who watch our videos, who support many of us, have been through a level of trauma with all this. And I don't blame you one bit. If you need to take a break from things and step back, I support that, even if it means not watching my channel because it's still triggering because of the other stuff. I get that. I get that. I totally do. But what I'm doing here on my channel, and what I will continue to do, is what I've always done. I'm going to talk about cults. I'm going to talk about Scientology. I'm going to make a ton of fun about it. We're going to laugh. We're going to heal. And we are hopefully going to deprogram ourselves in the process. Because the one thing I've learned in 1 year of being on YouTube here and talking about cults is many people have a cult mentality who weren't even in a cult. And I'm starting to learn that it's not just a cult mentality. It's disordered thinking. I just can't believe I didn't really see that. All these things, I labeled it as purely cult behavior. And then I started seeing it with people never in a cult. And then I realized, through the help of many of you and educating myself more on the topic and learning more about the psychology behind it, it's disordered thinking. That's what cult stuff is. It's just, there's a little bit more in the cult world. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like it's seen. And then that got me thinking, okay, so if that's the issue, then why don't we talk more about what does a healthy relationship, a healthy parasocial relationship look like? What are signs that somebody that you follow on social media is becoming a cult leader? All of those things. I'm working on a video right now about that. I've been working on it. I hope to have it up today. I do. I really do. I hope so. But I want to thank you guys so much for that, and continuing to be here with me and to continue to hold space for people, even if you don't like them. Even if you don't. All kinds of people. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to catch up on all your comments too, because you guys have just been saying some amazing things as well. And I so appreciate it. I don't know about that, Sharon. You're the person who will keep everybody together. I think it's their own individual choices. I just strongly believe that we can hold space for people, whether we disagree or not, and we don't need to be hateful when we're doing it. Sometimes people are going to get mad. Sometimes they're going to get upset. I do too. But can we try to work together to keep our eye on the prize here? And for me, it has everything to do with exposing not just Scientology, but cult behavior in general, especially here on the internet. That was my big epiphany recently. And you're going to see more of that content. That's why I did that video the other night, which I can't remember what it was called. Why ex-cult members attack, I think it was called. That video was about the broad audience of cults. And there were still a couple people that jumped in those comments and are like, well, if you don't disavow Aaron, and I'm like, you're kind of making my point here. And I don't think you watched the video. I'm speaking to a broad audience about cult behavior, and you're personalizing it into being about a situation that you have an unhealthy parasocial relationship with. You did that. You're personalizing it to mean that. I am talking about cult in general. I wasn't talking about any one person. If I was, I would have said. And if you watch the video, you see that. But I cannot control how people personalize. I cannot control how whatever anxiety they have about something, right? I can't control their parasocial relationship. So a lot of it, I might respond or I might just block you because I'm kind of sick of your shit and I don't have to listen to it because that's my right as a content creator with her own channel. I am incredibly independent. That's one thing that Tony always knew too. And he encouraged as much as possible. I think for myself, I question almost everybody. Ask Nancy. She'll tell me something and I'll be like, I don't know, Nancy. I don't know. And then we'll talk about it and then I'll marinate in it and I'll go, wow, you know what? You were right about that. But I think about things. I take the time to be with it. I don't want to just be reactionary on this channel because I'm trying, it goes against who I want to be today. I didn't leave Scientology to come here on YouTube and be a complete, utter bitch hurting people. That's not what I want to do. When I left Scientology, I decided I don't want that. I want to default to what I did know, even though I wasn't totally sure of who I was. My upbringing in Hawaii and my family on my dad's side, being about aloha, the culture, the way we live there, that is something I could lean into. And that became my stable thing about who I am. Oh, thank you, Caldesi. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me, those of you that have. I really appreciate it. We got a lot more stuff to cover and some really fun things that I'm going to be doing too when it comes to cults. And I hope that you guys are here for it. And I appreciate you being here for me. I truly do. Thank you, Arkansas Flamingo. But lower the bar, guys. I am not, like, one thing I don't want to be is anybody's role model or example because I will shit the bed eventually. I will do something you don't like. Old Fritz, I love that. I'm a proud member of Alohatology. I just think it's a good, point of view to kind of hold on to that way. I'm really behind in your comments. I am going to go read them after this is done because I can still see them in StreamYard there. But I appreciate you guys so much. I truly do. Hit that like, check your subscribe. I hope I get my act together and get that other video up today because I think it's really relevant to what we are talking about. And I appreciate all of you. And my mods, can we shout out to the mods right now? You guys, my mods have taken shit. My mods have been there with me as well. And so many of you have created, like I said, this emotional support bubble wrap around me when it's been needed. And I so appreciate that, truly. And they too, it's like know often stuff that's been going on and know what I'm doing and know like in life what's actually happening. And they keep showing up and create aloha and try to bring that to the chat. And I love it. And I love them and I appreciate them. And they keep showing up and they volunteer. Like they are what keeps the chat aloha. They bring that. All of you bring that. I'm just one person. It's you guys that are here creating this community. And I'm fortunate enough to be here. Truly. So big aloha to all of you guys. Aloha. Especially the mods, because they take a lot as well. And God bless them for understanding too. My, a lot of times I'm like, I don't care if you're in my chat and you're behaving yourself and you're being aloha, even if you disagree, that's totally fine. If you're in another chat and you're being an a-hole, fine. I don't control that chat. Now, I will say this though, if you're in another chat and you're being an a-hole about me, then I actually might block you. But I'm probably not going to see it because I don't read a lot of chats. I got to consume a lot of YouTube content. And honestly, it's like there's only so many hours in the day. NM. Thank you for the super sticker there. I really appreciate that. Northern Girl, I'm a newbie, your Walmart greeter, if you will. You know what we call the mods behind the scenes? Aloha ambassadors. And that's what I told them. I'm like, hey, we got to keep an eye on trolls to keep things, clean and not to create that aloha. but you're more Aloha ambassadors there to help with the chat and answer questions and contribute your own whatever you want to say and help build this community. And they do an amazing job of it. They really do. And what would I do without Nancy every morning commenting on my attire? She's got a great eye, so I know it drives her nuts when I wear dark colors on this background. But that too is part of it. So I love it. I love all of you who are here. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep rambling, so I'm just going to wrap it up. I want to go do that video. That's why too. So thank you guys so much for being here and for doing all of this. Anna from Canada.
Aloha.
Win to the mods for making a safe space for many. Yes. And so much are you guys are doing it. And I would ask, I do have an ask, I guess, try to do it in other places. When you go into other chats or you're on other channels, I would ask that you know, if you're doing it here and you're bringing aloha and you're trying to approach things with kindness, and even when you disagree, maybe you can do that in other chats. Maybe it'll spread like a virus. Maybe we could get the idea of living aloha to spread like a virus and be just another way to see things and act there. So aloha to all of you. I hope you all get out today and have an amazing cult-free day.